as a Democrat or a Republican. He's there as the president of the United States, the head of our government, with the entire world watching.
Basically,
how we conduct ourselves. So if, you're going to heckle him like you're at a fucking Trump rally, like, that's not, like, I think this whole Donald Trump type politics, which I guess started with Sarah Palin, or really exacerbated with Sarah Palin, that whole type of, violent, like, rhetoric and
almost like an entertainment vibe or like a theater vibe you're starting to try to like a TV show kind of thing. It's like,
yeah, they're trying to perform for their base,
right?
Because they don't really take it seriously. They're just trying to put on a show to show that they're fighting for them, but like really they're just like children who can't get shit done.
Right. And it's like the president is talking. Like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is not a debate.
That's why, at the end, they have a rebuttal speech. The Republicans pick someone to have a speech to rebut the president. And no one yells at that person while they're speaking.
Exactly.
They're, I guess they speak from whatever office they choose to or whatever. But, like, they're not the president, so they don't have the privilege of delivering a speech before Congress live like that. But it's like, there's a rebuttal speech. Like, you don't get to do the rebuttal speech during the fucking speech.
Right.
No sense.
Yeah, and there's like a level of respect. And even on certain topics that Biden actually brought up, he even, I think at one point even said, out of respect, he's not even going to name any names. I think it was going towards like the cutting the Social Security and all that, and the Medicaid, because there were people in that crowd considering, or they wanted to literally slash Social Security and healthcare. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like the hypocrisy is just crazy. It's just, I don't get it. I just like, it's just, and I don't know how like people don't see that. And
sadly, I believe that this kind of type of politics is not going to go away for a while. We're going to continue to see this type of politics, and it's only going to exacerbate itself when they win the presidency. And it's not going to be if, it's going to be when. Because eventually there's going to be a Republican candidate that people will vote in.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be Trump. I hope to God, no.
It could be DeSantis. It could be Nikki Haley. Who knows? But
yeah, Nikki Haley's a recent name. I think she said something about she was going to come out. And did she make her announcement yet? Or
if she did, it was very quiet. It wasn't really covered. Like, I heard that it was official, but I didn't really see her speak or anything. Maybe I just didn't pay any attention because
I'll say this. The Republican primary is going to be an interesting show. The debates.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Donald Trump was running for president for the first time? How he destroyed everybody there just because he overtalked them, he put them down, and people ate that shit up. And they didn't have the Republicans at the time didn't have that type of politics there. They followed the rules, they said their bit, they didn't interrupt anybody. But he was all over the fucking map, so they didn't know what to do with him. Now, if he should try it again, he's going to have little mini-me's doing the same exact shit to him. It's going to be a fiasco and a half. I can't wait. Bring your popcorn.
Yeah, but like the funny thing about even his situation at that time was like, if you really go back and pay attention to some of like the debates, I mean, usually they say the debates don't really, make a big difference either way. They don't really sway people. If you like look at the context of even what they were saying and shouting at one another, some of it wasn't even like actual important topics. Like
oh, I know.
Donald Trump did not hesitate to make like low blows and personal blows and things like that. You know what I mean? So like in the end, that's what also altered like what Rook was saying about like the whole entertainment aspect of it. Because like after a while now it's like it's like a political rap battle. You know?
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
Low energy Rick, and he comes out with nicknames and shit, and that's all.
Yeah, but he was running the show last time. I think this time, when it's going to be him and other Republicans also going up for the presidency vote, they're going to come right back at him just like he did with them. It's going to be other rappers are starting to appear up to the show now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they didn't try to take him down, but
No, but they
destroyed
they didn't know what to do with him. He blindsided the shit out of them, and they were like, "Oh,
right." They didn't know how
you're
to
ugly."
handle it.
Yeah, exactly. But
like he called Ted Cruz's wife a dog, basically.
Right. And then he still, what does he do? He goes and runs, and he's like his lap dog.
Oh yeah.
Right now, you know what I mean? Like, how someone just disrespected your wife, like,
right?
And you still support him? Like,
I don't know. Maybe he agrees.
I mean, I guess so. But I just find it insane that like that you know what I mean? That's his mindset.
He's like, that's why I go to Mexico to get my trim on the side.
Yeah, that's the speaking of Mexico, that's the more even hilarious part about him. When a crisis happens to his state, him and his family, he packs up and he goes to Cancun and lets them just deal with it. They'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, these are all red flags that I wonder, like, do people pick up red flags anymore?
Well, if it doesn't lead back to a Democrat, they don't give a fuck.
Exactly, because it's all about, you know what I mean, the whole.
If it doesn't lead back to Hunter Biden's laptop, they don't, or Hillary Clinton's emails, they don't give a fuck.
I still can't believe people are still talking about her emails too.
Oh yeah, if they're not talking about her emails, they're talking about Hunter Biden's laptop.
Right, it's one or the other or both. Like, I just can't. Like, we can never move forward as a nation if we keep talking about shit like this. You know what I mean? And like, most of it is just pointless. It's not productive in any way.
Like, Hunter Biden's laptop has like fucking who killed JFK, like it has Area 51.
Right.
Like what the fuck?
And like, I get it too. Like, some people, for some reason, they hate Hunter Biden too. But like, I get it. He's kind of a screwball a little bit.
No, they don't hate Hunter Biden. They hate Joe Biden.
But yeah, right. But the bottom line is, if you want to really take it to the point of their children, like, Donald Trump's kids are fucking jokes. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they lie just as much as him, if not even more, for their own personal gain. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't get it. You can't, accuse someone else of doing a certain action.
They're scumbags.
Yeah, that's exactly what it rolls down to. Because you can't accuse someone else of doing something that the people you favor are doing or did.
They can and they do. They have no problem with hypocrisy.
Yeah, like, hypocrisy is like the general thesis of the whole party.
Well, all right. Who was that little friggin' penguin-looking motherfucker that was working with Trump and them?
Oh, you're talking about Stone, probably.
Yes.
Chris Christie?
No, Roger Stone, I think he's talking about.
Roger
Looks like
Stone,
the penguin.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Looks like the penguin. Like a very thin penguin.
That's probably what
he said it, and I think they have a clip of it, like him saying it to an interview or to other people or whatever. It's just like, just deny. So you can say whatever the fuck you want, just deny everything else, even if they contradict each other.
And not for nothing, I will always protect freedom of speech, because that's beyond important. But at the same time, freedom of speech can also, could lead to trouble when it's not like when people take advantage of it.
I'm not standing up for people's like dumb speech. I'm sorry. Like,
no, you're
like,
right.
I don't like. I advocate for freedom of speech in terms of the First Amendment, but that is for people to speak, freely against the government without fear of retribution or without being restricted against the government. When it comes to people being assholes to other people, like in a private setting, you don't have no free speech rights. That's not free speech. That's not constitutionally defined free speech. Like, people like to think that freedom of speech is like, oh, I can say this because it's a free country and I can say whatever I want. And you can't call me an asshole for it. Like, that's what people want. Like, people want to be able to say whatever the fuck they want, whenever they want,
offend,
and also not be called an asshole for it,
or not hold the repercussions of some of the bullshit that's coming out.
Even that statement in itself, Rook, is a contradiction, because if it was the way they wanted, you could be like, yeah, and you're an asshole, and that would be the end of it. It's just like, I can say you're an asshole, you can say whatever you want, you're still an asshole.
Right, but they go and cry and say, oh, you're restricting my freedom of speech.
Yeah, now they're the victim now, you know what I mean?
Right. Like,
yeah, see, then they turn that card real quick.
Yeah, like they're just like, they expect to be able to be assholes without being called out on it.
And the other important thing about it is, like, if you're gonna have a show or whatever the case is, doesn't matter if it's TV, radio, or whatever it is, and you're pouring out nothing but like conspiracy theories, bullshit lies, and just shit to start shit up, you should be held accountable. Or if you're claiming actual events didn't happen when they actually did, like Alex Jones's case, you know what I mean? Like repercussions. Yeah, you have your freedom of speech, but if you continuously lie about crap and start developing a cult following, repercussions are coming for those lies that you're saying that aren't true about those specific things, about whatever they may be. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's the most extreme example of that is January 6th. Look at Trump. The election was stolen. The election was stolen. The election was stolen. He repeated that over and over and over again, and
he still says it.
Violence. Like the election was stolen, so we're gonna have to take our country back.
See what they don't realize is the only reason why he says the election is stolen is because he didn't win. That's the only reason why it was stolen. They've already done so many like checks and stuff on this. They said it was it was probably the most fairest election ever.
He already said it was stolen before he lost.
And that's exactly. And you realize like this is
he did the same thing in 2016. He's already ready to start saying, "Oh, if I don't win, it's a fake election. It's rigged."
Exactly. And like people don't get it. Like he's like a baby in his mind when it comes to winning and losing. The problem is, I think there's a lot of other people that also might maybe relate to that. But the bottom line is facts are still facts in the end. Facts still matter, right? Like,
I don't know.
Republican Party.
To everybody.
Yeah, like, because the bottom line is if you keep believing lies and false truths, eventually the truth is going to surface and there's going to be a lot of trouble ahead then.
I just read something about Boebert. She introduced a bill last June that would classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Fentanyl?
Yeah, as a weapon of mass destruction. She wasted taxpayer dollars for the Congressional Research Service to review her fucking bill and come back with a report. Now, the Congressional Research Service is a nonpartisan, wing of Congress that like does a lot of services for Congress members' offices. And, when you write a bill, you often do it with the help of the Congressional Research Service to structure it right and review certain things. So their report called it, quote, formally designating fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction may not be necessary for additional executive branch action. But like what the
This is where we are.
Like this is what happens when you have someone who just got their GED a month before getting elected to Congress. I'm sorry, but like,
bring a good point up there.
I'm sorry. Do. We need smarter people in office. I'm sorry. Tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but like
didn't get far.
I'm sorry. The GED wasn't good enough because she missed out on something. Okay.
And like you said, think about not only the time wasted, but think about the taxpayer money that was wasted in all this too. Now, don't get me wrong, that shit is really bad, but is it a weapon of mass destruction?
No, I don't.
Come on.
I don't think the Department of Homeland Security needs to send counterterrorism experts to track down fentanyl, like take people off of like, searching for loose nukes. No, we don't need to do that.
Isn't that technically what the DEA is for anyway?
Right. We don't need a weapon of mass destruction designation for fentanyl. I'm sorry.
This is not normal action.
But the fact that she thought that was a good idea either says that, she knows it's a dumb idea, but she's just feeding her base, which would think it's a good idea, in which case that doesn't reflect so kindly on her base, the people that sent her there, which the fact that they sent her there in the first place is, probably self-evident of that. Or it means that she's dumb as shit. Or it's both. But
it's both. It could be too. I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry. This is just like unbecoming of Congress. It's a disgrace. It needs to stop. It really needs to stop.
For real.
They need to stop sending these degenerates to Congress. Otherwise, we're gonna have January 6th happen, every time we have a fucking national
election for real.
So someone gets shot.
Yeah, I mean, someone did get shot. It was one of them on January 6th. Paul Pelosi got a brick to his head.
And that's the end of this week's episode, folks. Strange Planet will have new episodes every Friday on YouTube. Until next week.